Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Walking with the King YouTube channel. My name is Denovia McKenzie. Welcome, special welcome to those who are here for the first time. I look forward to you joining the Walking with the King family by hitting that subscribe button. I'm sure by now you would have seen the topic. God is a provider. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Now, some of us may have this question, but are afraid to ask it, to voice it. And so I'm going to ask the question on your behalf. Is God really a provider? Because you have been praying for things for years, for months, for weeks, for days, yet still you're in the same predicament. Your situation has not changed. So, is God really a provider? For today, I would like for us to look at Ruth chapter 1 and 2, more specifically, verse 6 of chapter 1 onwards. But just to give a brief summary of Ruth chapter 1, verse 1 to 5, Naomi and her husband moved to Moab because there was a famine in Bethlehem, Judah. And they moved to Moab. They had two sons. Soon after, her husband died. Naomi's husband died, and then her two sons died. Now, verse 6, pick up in verse 6 is where Naomi, Ruth, and Orpah are on their way to Judah because Naomi heard that the Lord had visited the people by giving them bread. But Naomi, Naomi told Orpah and Ruth to go back to their mother's house. So she would go on the journey by herself. But Orpah was the only one who listened to her, and Ruth followed after her. In fact, Ruth said to her, and I'm going to quote from the Bible, it says, "Entreat me not to leave you or to turn back from following after you. For wherever you go, I will go, and wherever you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God." So Ruth was like, I'm not leaving you, I'm going with you. And Naomi didn't say anything after that, and she went with her. Now, fast forward. Ruth chapter 2 shows us how Ruth was instrumental in God providing for Naomi because Ruth was able to gather grain after the harvesters and by extension provided for herself and Naomi. Now, it is not to say that Naomi was not mourning the loss of her husband and her sons. She was she was hurt by it. She was mourning, but God still provided for her needs, her physical need, food. Now, it is not that your situation is not hard. It is not that you're not hurting. But how can you see God providing for you despite that your situation just seems to have gotten worse over the months or years instead of better in the way that you hope? How can you see God providing? The other day for class, I had to close read a poem. And to be honest, I didn't want to do the assignment, okay? But I'm happy I did because I learned something from it. The poem is by Anne Bradstreet, and she was a Christian um, writer living in America at the time. The poem was from 1669. I'm going to read an excerpt from you. Well, actually, I'm going to read the whole poem because it is very short. So just bear with me. It says, on my dear grandchild Simeon Bradstreet, who died on November 16, 1669. Being but a month and 1 day old, no acquaintance sooner come, short but gone, yet parting and falling caused asleep us weep. 3 flowers too scarcely blown, the last with bud, cropped by the Almighty's hand, yet he is good. With dreadful awe before him, let's be mute. Such was his will, but why? Let's not dispute. With humble hearts and mouths put in the dust, let's say he's merciful as well as just. He will return and make up all our losses and smile again after our bitter crosses. Go, pretty babe, go rest with sisters twain, among the blissed in endless joys remain. Now, this is a powerful poem. Let's face it. She wrote this poem after her third grandchild passed away, and in the poem, she acknowledges that all three of them died at a young age, but she didn't curse God, nor did she say, "Woe is me and my family. God has forgotten us. He has left us." No. In fact, there's the part in there that I want to repeat. She said, 3 flowers, too scarcely blown, the last with bud, cropped by the Almighty's hand. Yet he is good. All three of them died, but God is still good. Their lives were shortened, but God is still good. With dreadful awe before him, let's be mute. Such was his will. But why? Let's not dispute. She doesn't know why this happened to her family, but she's saying to them, let's not dispute. And we don't know why our circumstances are the way they are. But instead of us saying, God has forgotten us and he has left us, and we know that he has not. He has not left us. It's hard, and that is not to undermine what this writer went through, nor what you are going through or what I am going through. It's not to undermine it and say that it doesn't matter. God is still with us. Yes, it hurts and it is painful sometimes, and sometimes we cry, but God is still with us and he is still providing for our needs. Our needs. I hope you get that. Our needs. There are so many things that we want and we may not have it, and we've been praying for it for years and we may not have yet received it. But can you look in your life? Can you just take a moment to look at all the things that God has provided that you needed, and he has provided? He is still providing for our needs. And all of this reminds me of day 33 of the Journey 40-day devotional, which is entitled God Provides. And the psalmist David speaks about God as a provider, God as a shepherd. He says, the Lord is my shepherd. I have everything I need. It's not that God is not a provider when our wants are unmet. We know he's a provider because our needs are met. And so today I want to encourage you. The journey is hard. It's difficult. It brings you to tears, the pain, and everything, it's there. But let's not forget, God is still a provider. He still is. And so when the thoughts come to mind and the whispers, and you're like, God's not a provider. Look at you. Your situation haven't changed. And to be honest, when I got this topic, I did not want to speak about it because I'm like, I am the last, the last person to come on here talking about God is a provider, because I don't have the big testimony. I don't have it. I don't have the grand testimony to share with you today that God, God provided this thing that I've been praying for. In fact, I am still waiting, right? But God is a provider because our needs are met. So there are things that we want. In fact, the next video I wanted to post, I wanted to have a really nice background and a really nice camera, phone, better yet, that can record what I think is good quality video. But here I am recording without any resources, any new resources, just the ones that I've had before. And I must say, despite that I don't have those, I have what I have right now. And God is still a provider. He still is. So, with that said, if you haven't gotten the Journey 40-day devotional, you need to get it. It's on Amazon. It's 15 US or 20 Canadian. 20 10 cent Canadian. It's just the rate of exchange, guys. Oh, it's on Amazon. Get it. It is good for your spiritual growth. It's a great resource. Grab it. The link is in the description. I am happy you joined. And if you made it this far in the video, congrats. I want for you to post down below, God is still providing. God is still providing. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk next time. Remember, share the video with your friends and your family. Talk to you next time.